All right, welcome everybody to lab time. The lab time before this was histogramming the letters in the Bee Movie script. So let me pull up some source code here, vim.cc. So if you want to open the Bee Movie script, we have it on the server there, /public/Bee Movie. And since we're going to be counting how many times each letter appears in the script, we're going to be doing a hash mapu between letters and their count. And so we are going to basically read from the file, and we're going to read one character at a time, like this. This is kind of a weird, this might be a little too advanced for you guys. So maybe we'll just do this here and say C Riyadh. C is equal to 2 upper. C. That's maybe the more easy to understand way of doing it. So you're going to read one letter. There's a strange design in CC type where 2 upper actually takes an integer. So if you nest read ends into it, it reads an integer instead of a character, which breaks everything. So probably doing it this way is the best way of doing it. If we hit the end of the file, we break. If the letter we read was a punctuation, remember on the lab time description here, use a hash table, Bee Movie script counting occurrences of characters. Don't include punctuation. Uppercaseify all characters, then sort from greatest to least, print the sorted vector. So, and then that is how you can do it. So his square bracket C says go to the element in the array corresponding with the letter Q or whatever, and then we're going to increment its count by 1. And so a unordered map is sometimes called an associative array. So, for example, if you have an unordered map between string and int, for example, this thing is really fun here. All right, named string int, named mapu. You can think of it as an array, except instead of the array indices being like 1 or something like that, the array index is like January, right? And January has 31 days, and February has 28 days. So a hash map is sometimes called an associative array for this reason, because it's associating the string with the number of days, in this case, the number of days in the month that it's associated with, and it looks like an array. So instead of index 0, index 1, index 2, it's index January, index February, index March. And they're not held in any particular order. That's why it's called an unordered map. You have no idea what order these things are going to come out in. So the unordered map here of characters integers, this is going to histogram. This is going to say go to array element Q and increment its count by 1. Now, if it's not in there already, it will put it in there with a count of 0. So this is actually using that sharp edge for us. Normally we would not do this, but this is putting it to work for us. I see here a lot of people noticed that the thing that I put up here had the solution on the left-hand side. Good for you. All right, so I was trying to give you guys an easy lab time today. It literally had most of the assignment done for you. Now, this code here is going to be printing out the count and printing out the letter, but it's not going to be sorted. Okay, it's not going to be sorted. So what I did for my solution was I would run it and then pipe the results of it through sort, reverse sort, which means greatest to least, and general numeric sort. And so this will actually give me the numbers in count order. If I did not do that, it's going to sort alphabetically. Sort by default does alphabetical sort, not numeric sort. And so you can see the 2s, you get the 3s, you get the 5s. It's kind of like how Windows will number like sort files, for example. And so by piping the results through G, then we get numeric sort, and sort-R adds greatest to least. And that's how I did it. Because if I was, for example, writing a quiz, and today I wanted to, quiz you guys on which letter has, the highest count in the Bee Movie script, this is how I would do it. Like if I'm just curious, I'm like, okay, All right, neat. You know, done. And then I'd erase main.cc. Like, it's very common in computer science to just have like a little one-off program where you're just like, okay, I need to get a little fact. You write a little program, you do a little thing. Sure, you could sort it in C++, or you can just do that. Either way, works. Muya probably has plenty of like little one-off programs he has. Aaron, what's going on, Aaron? Now, if you guys wanted to sort this in C++, well, now we'll need a vector. Now, Luke Olson proposed having a vector of pairs. So we'll take that approach. You guys technically don't know classes yet, which is why your TA made it a little bean for you guys. We're going to make a vector of pairs between a character and a count, like that, called vec. And we'll say vec dot pushback. Key. And so this is going to add all of the pairs to a vector, and then we can sort the vector using something you guys have not seen before. So we are going to do sort vector.begin, vector.end, and then should we use a lambda? Let's use a lambda. Why not? No? Too advanced? What do you think? Should we do a lambda? Should we use a free function? What do you think? Fernando did a lambda. Interesting. You're very proud. Or, you know, ChatGPT, one or the other. I don't know. So, all right. Let's do a free function. Okay. So I'm gonna make a function, and I know that's an error. We come back to it. I'm going to make a function that's going to be called compare two pairs, and it's going to compare one pair of, what is it, char int named A, and one const reference pair char int by reference B. And so what I'm going to do is say one of these pairs is less than another when its count is less. So I'm going to say return a.count is less than b.count. And then this will sort the vector from lowest to highest. Sort can take a third parameter here called compare to pairs. No parentheses. Note the lack of parentheses here. I'm actually passing the function in as a parameter. And then if I could spell properly, there we go. A.count, b.count. So used to doing this using classes. Wait a second. There we go. Okay. There we go. And then we need to print the thing after we're done. So get rid of the C out here. And we're going to see out p dot first, p dot second, and get from vec. And then we have the vector sorted by count in smallest to greatest fashion. So if we want to flip this around, we can just make the alligator point the other way. And now we have the count sorted from highest to lowest. So it takes a little bit longer than doing it using a Unix shell script. That's one of the nice things about Unix shell script, that if you just need a little one-off, like, oh, I got this data, I'll just sort, done. All right, there's E, cool, done. You know, if you want to do it properly, it takes a little bit longer. It's not that hard. So the learning point here for today is that sort can take a third parameter. Note the lack of parentheses on this. There's no open close parentheses. We're not calling the function. We are passing the function as a function parameter to sort, and it will use this function here to compare the two pairs, because it doesn't know how to compare it. Should I be sorting it based on the character? Should I be sorting it based on the count? Technically, if there's a tie, we might want to handle that. But I'm not going to. We should sort it alphabetically if there's a tie, probably. So if they have the same count, we'll return A dot first. A dot first. So if there's a tie on the count, then we'll alphabetize it or something. I don't know. Greatest least leads to greatest. I don't know either. Okay. So that'll handle if the count's the same. Then at least they'll come out consistently in the same order. You're watching Doug yesterday. Yeah, my daughter loves him. So he had ChatGPT Python just write a function that reads two numbers separated by space and store them. They tried to use regex instead of string split. It's funny. Yeah, no, Doug's got a bunch of funny videos, and it's nice to know that you have the same YouTube taste as my 11-year-old daughter. Now, do you guys want to see this as something called the lambda? This is like a CSI 41 topic, but you guys want to see? So, there you go. So, how about that? Maybe. These things aren't lined up right. I don't know why they're not. Okay, whatever. Okay, so what we're passing in here is actually, what I did is I just copied and pasted this function. But you might notice the name of the function is now apparently open close square bracket. It's not, like that's not actually a function name. But you can think of it as the function name if it helps you remember it. It's not. It's something called lambda capture, but it looks like a name. So the name of the function looks like open close square bracket, and then it still takes the same parameter here, has the same function body here. So you can literally paste a function right there into the parameter, the third parameter to sort, that takes a function as a parameter. Just paste it right there, and it'll work. The benefit of this is that you don't actually have to create a function up in global space. For a little toy project like this, I'd probably do it with that thing up in global space. But for large projects where you got millions of lines of code, you can only have one function named compare two pairs. That might be taken already. And so using lambda, which doesn't have a name at all, is probably the better practice there. But it's exactly the same. Like this version here and the lambda version. They do the same thing. So you make your own like custom sort function, and then you can tell it how exactly you want that function can tell C++ how exactly you want the vector sorted. And we're going to sort alphabetically if there's a tie. Otherwise, we're going to sort purely based on the count of the characters. And so that function there gets passed in here. Again, no open close parentheses. We're passing the function in as a parameter. And if you want, you can pass it in as a lambda. It's going to work exactly the same way. This would be useful if you're going to use it more than one time. Names are only, you don't usually ask for the name of like a stranger, right? Unless you're planning on talking to them again. So, or if you're going to use their name again, right? Like usually when you're like just walking down the street, you don't just like ask random people their names. It'd be weird. And they'd be kind of creeped out because it's like, oh, I'm planning on seeing you again. You're like, I've never met you before, right? And so in this case, you don't need a name. But that's how you can custom sort a vector. All right. So that is it for the edumification time for today. The rest of the time for today is going to be spent working on your image processing filters with your partner by the end of lab time today. I'd like for you to screenshot to me your image filter, and that will count as your lab time for today. Okay.